Greetings, Moonlight citizens. It is your man on the moon here on the Moonlight Kingdom Podcast, episode 48, if I'm not mistaken. One of the early episodes of this year. Pretty much, I'm thinking the last Moonlight Kingdom Podcast episode of January here. Yeah, let's get into this one as we cover P. Diddy, Harvey Weinstein, Vince McMahon, old Vince McMustache himself, and all the controversial people we can find from 2024 here in the world of 2025. As they all get brought to justice and they have a light shine on them by none other than your man on the moon. Anyway, let's get into it here in 3, 2, 1.
Exposed more than anything that he did in fact do everything they accused him of. He fled. He actually fled. He actually fled the country, escaped. He almost got away with it. I don't understand this. He fled, and then after getting away with it, grabbed the phone, went on social media, and apologized. Gave some half-ass apology, I just want to apologize for everything I did. I was in it. He hit every single bullet point on the bullshit social media apology. He hit that was the old me. I was in a dark place back then. I'm gonna do better. He tried to squeeze out one of them, just one tear, but no. His own body was like, man, this is bullshit. Old you 3, yes. Yes, I love pointing that shit out. Really, the old you of 3 weeks ago, huh? Yeah, that was the old me. I was in such a dark place. I never meant to hurt you. I never did this, that. I apologize, my friend. Is that bullshit? Generic social media, I fucked up apology. He's some shit like he found religion and he's taking time off. Yeah, you were in a dark place. You're gonna be one. You're gonna be in one now. Yeah. Nice 8x9 cell, big metal door. Yeah, it's got real dark considering there's no windows in them cells. But hey, you've been here before. I'm sure you'll find the strength to get out of this one, man. After all, you found the strength to, will yourself to apologize out here. It's funny how they always apologize after they get busted. They don't apologize when they get accused. They don't apologize when people come with evidence. They only apologize after they're guilty. We know you did it. It's I'm sorry. I'd like to apologize to my fans. I talked to God and man, get out of here. Don't do this. Come on, man. Really? For their action. They're sorry. Yes. They're sorry they got caught. Exactly. It always falls under that. You're not sorry you did it. You got sorry you got caught. Yeah. And at the time, he hadn't fully got caught. He was still in some, I don't know, wherever the fuck his stand he was hiding. Some random place with a villa. It's dumbass. This is dumb. I'm glad he got caught eventually, but when I saw what happened, I was thinking you managed to get away with it. You managed to, before the FBI showed up, you managed to hop on a plane and jet to some foreign country. No one knows where you are. You could have just stayed there, stayed off social media and disappeared. No one would find you. You could have just disappeared. But the dumbass came back. He came back. He tried to sneak back into the U.S. and got busted going to a hotel. Wow. Just wow, man. Oh, dude, that was so damn lame. I mean, I was expecting a proper manhunt or something. Man, we were denied a good manhunt looking for this guy. Choppers flying everywhere, boats scanning the water and attack dogs running up and down the streets and shit looking for him. Like, we were denied a good manhunt. They can't survive without the adoration of their fans. Yeah, that ego takes hold. It's just, for heaven's sake, man, he got busted in the dumbest way. He walked into a, he got busted walking into a hotel. Like, they caught him in the lobby. He just casually walked into a hotel. Next thing he knew, there were cops everywhere. Like, of course there were cops everywhere. You're out in public full of cameras and witnesses and all that. And you're just like, yeah, I'm going to walk in like nothing happened. Like, he ain't Snoop. He ain't Dr. Dre. He ain't Tupac. Yeah, none of them would have done this shit. Like, even if they did do something that would have the FBI on them, they wouldn't be stupid enough to just waltz back in like nothing happened. Like, and the real funny part, when they arrested him, when they busted him, they were like, no, I was surrendering. I was trying to... He was like, he was surrendering. He was trying to turn himself in. You were trying to turn yourself in to the hotel lobby, man? Yeah, sure you were. Yeah, we'll buy that. All right, sure. Like, no, they got me before I could turn myself in. Then why do it? Okay, whatever, man. Whatever you say. Nobody's buying your bullshit anymore, man. Just be quiet. Go away. Man, the lawyer. Whew. That lawyer he got was something. I'll just say that much. The dude was like talking about baseless accusations and we'll have our day in court and all that. It's just like, I hate to break it to you, man, but no, you won't. The evidence is astounding. The eyewitnesses are plenty. The accusations are incredibly high. Like, he's going to jail. This court case isn't to decide whether or not he goes to jail. It's to decide how long he goes to jail. Like, yeah. I don't know. He seemed pretty old. He seemed to have been lawyering around. I get that when you're a lawyer, you gotta, like, work to defend your client and all that, but, like, damn. Like, you signed on for a really hard job, man. Maybe he's on retainer or something. I don't know. But, like, saying that, it's going to be okay when it clearly isn't, like, come on, man. We know he did it. We know he did it. Everybody knows. Nobody's disputing that he did it. Like, just strike a deal with the DA and just be like, okay, what's the least time we can get? So just do that. This trial pretty much is like, I don't know, unnecessary, but otherwise, they asked him about the baby oil. They asked the lawyer about the baby oil, and he's like, well, he stocks up in case he needs it, he has many uses of it, some people bathe in it, like that's why he would have so much, like, whoa. So you're telling me that he bought 1,000 bottles of baby oil to bathe in it? Like, this man is out here filling up a bathtub with baby oil. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, bathe in it? Like, he's like, some people bathe in it, some people, for, like, ashiness and so on. Like, yeah, he too was like, black people get ashy. And I'm like, maybe you shouldn't be saying that. Considering you're a white guy, don't just be like, oh, well, black people do be getting ashy out here. It's like, nah, man, maybe you don't. He didn't say that verbatim, but it's basically what he said. Like, okay, stop, man. I don't know if I buy that either. Like, that isn't, like, people bathe in baby oil. That's your excuse. That's more whack than Faison Love's excuse, man. Come on. Like, oh, jeez. Like, why did he even answer that? What happened to the days where a lawyer would just say no comment? Like, what happened to those days? I miss the no comment days. Just, like Robert De Niro said it best. Don't say nothing if you have nothing to say. Like, that is so disappointing. But, like, also, if you're a lawyer, don't lie to your client. Don't tell him there's a possibility he can get out of this when he clearly can't. Just be honest and tell him, like, yeah, you're going to jail. You're going to jail. I'm just here to make sure that it's not for life. Like, I'm here. I'm a redundancy at this point. But, yeah. That made me laugh. I want to see this court case so bad. Like, I want to see this. I hope they live stream it like Amber Heard and Johnny Depp. I hope we get to see like all the weird reactions and everything, and all the witnesses. I can't wait to see who they get. One person we do know they contacted Jennifer Lopez. Yes, that was a circus, but it was entertaining circus to say the least. I'll give it that much. Jennifer Lopez was called as a witness in a P. Diddy case. Not this P. Diddy case, but a different P. Diddy case. Someone else is suing him amidst all this. And she was called as a witness because she was something happened way back in the 90s, and apparently she was there for. And I don't know how that testimony is going to be helpful, considering it's like, I mean, asking someone, hey, can you recall something that happened on this random night 30 years ago? Like, I wouldn't be able to do that. I couldn't possibly, like, do something like that. Like, what kind of witness is this? Yes, the crime happened 30 years ago, but the evidence came up now. Even if that's the case, it's like, that was 30 years. Can you really say you remember everything that happened back then clearly enough to count as proper testimony? Like, but all that to one side. The court case for old P. Diddy is going to be on May 5th, 2025. A good couple months away. Only downside is I won't be able to cover it here on this app. Man, old Tickety Talk might be long gone by then. Unfortunate side effect of things, but hey, don't worry.
Present day man on the moon chiming in here on the 30th of January. Just want to say TikTok is the eradication of TikTok has been postponed. Oh yeah. They have postponed the cancellation of the app, and this was recorded way back when. This was recorded on the 13th of January when that impending countdown to the end of the great TikTok app was still coming. So yeah, as far as I know, the end of TikTok is still coming, because that delay was just so it could be sold to an American company, and it seems unlikely that that's going to happen unless, I don't know, some tinkering is made to the deal. I don't know. Maybe I'll keep you posted on it. Maybe you won't hear about it again. Who knows? But anyway, back to what was being recorded. Back to P. Diddy, babyoil, Jennifer Lopez, and more.
Folks, you will be hearing from me on this in regards to this circus right here, but just this whole thing, just not just P. Diddy and the people being called. I wonder. Oh, I heard of a live stream app. Favorited. Okay, I will look into that. And the celebrities that have been tied to P. Diddy over the years: Usher, Jay-Z, Justin Bieber, so many people. Okay, going back to what he's being charged with, the stuff with Cassie Ventura, we know what happened with, like, in the hotel. It was, you need 25 hours collab, but it's only live, no posting. I can work with that. In regards to what happened with Cassie Ventura and what happened in that hotel room, when that video surfaced, first off, that video was filmed years ago. Only reason we hadn't seen it until now was because he paid the hotel to keep it quiet. And I'm guessing someone else paid more for the video, so it's like, yeah, that's the downside of, like, these toxic celebrities. When they get enough money, they think the money can allow them to do whatever. And you think, like, hush money. That is a big thing. That was, they think money will allow them to get away with anything. If you got enough money, you can just buy your way out of problems. Like with P. Diddy in that hotel, man was under the impression he could just use his money to pay the hotel staff to make sure that the footage of him chasing after Miss Ventura in that towel never saw the light of day. But as we all know, that hotel would never delete that. They might need it at some point. Whenever a hotel guest, like a celebrity guest, comes to a hotel and there's footage of them doing something shady, it doesn't matter who you pay, doesn't matter how much you pay, that footage is going to see the light of day at some point. You'd have to get the original copy and destroy it to guarantee that it goes nowhere. Even if you do that, there's still going to be staff members and management from the establishment who come forward and be like, yeah, he was here on this day and this is what happened. Like, those hotels do offer discretion in the moment, but down the line, if the police show up and say like, yeah, crime was committed here, that discretion is gone. Like, yeah. It's not like a lawyer or a priest where they have to maintain confidentiality. You know, it's like, I don't know, Motel 6 isn't going to be very discretionary if it comes out that, you know, you attacked somebody. But the fact that he did that, like the fact that P. Diddy ran down that hallway in nothing but a towel, chasing after that woman, it showed, one, he does not care. He knew he could get away with something like that. And two, it showed that he'd done it before. Like, and try paying me off. Give me $1,000K to keep quiet. Add about 6 zeros under that, maybe more. Yeah, you'd have to pay a fuck ton to silence the wicked here. Give it that much. I can't be bought. Number one, I can't be bought. Two, if you do have that much, at least I'm actually set for life. Yeah. Not just one bill. Yeah, like, I get it. That's relatable. Like, if you're gonna bribe me, I'm gonna need more than the Trump change that you carry in your fucking pocket, okay? We're gonna have to go down to the bank or something. You know? When you try to bribe me, I want to see that ATM say you have exceeded the amount that you are allowed to withdraw for a day. Like, yeah. Then you want to buy my silence, you actually have to, you won't buy it, all right? Yeah. Yes. Buy it for life and pay for every hour, yeah. Right, yeah, that's cool. When the money they gave runs out, then give them a ring, like, hey. So, like, okay, don't. If they pay a big enough sum, like, there's a point, like, okay, like, nah. If they pay an amount with, like, 6 zeros attached to it, that's like, you'd be set for a very long time. To call them again after that would be like, okay, come on now. This is getting ridiculous. Like, you don't want it to turn into, like, a Jay-Z thing where the dude goes, you know what? Forget it. You know, go ahead. Tell the world. Bring your so-called evidence. I'll wait. You know, I can take it. I know I didn't do nothing. Like, that's, with regards to Jay-Z, that attitude that he had honestly makes me think, like, yeah, I'd be like that hotel. Turn around and make even more selling it to the news. Yeah, that's smart. That is exactly what that hotel did. That is a sound strategy right there. The only downside to the hotel doing that might be that, you know, some people might not want to go to that hotel. Like, celebrities may not want to go to that hotel anymore because it's like, damn, you know, there's no privacy in the sense that if something does happen, it won't wind up on TMZ or something. So yeah, that is the one downside of that. But oh yeah, it showed that not only was he not afraid of getting caught, but it showed that he'd clearly done something like this before. Because don't nobody run like that in a towel and that shit doesn't just come off. Like, he'd clearly done this before. And the idea that he gave forward in his fucking apology where, hi, Crunk, how you doing? The idea that he gave forth in his apology about, like, oh, that was the old me. Like, oh, I'm trying to be a changed man, you know. Like, that, fuck you, okay? That ain't no old you shit. Like, that is you even now. Like, nah. Don't give me that. That is bullshit. Like, yes, hello to you too. Just, it's terrible. You know, the man did that and thought he got away with it, and then it came back to bite him. It all comes back in the end. All the heinous actions one does throughout their lifetime, it all comes back one way or another. I think one of the reasons it took so long was maybe because that old FBI and them had no reason to actually look at P. Diddy. It wasn't until Cass Ventura came forward with her trial and the public eye was on him in this light that this is just what I think. I don't know this for sure, that, you know, the trial shone a spotlight on him and the FBI took notice, like, there's something here that we're not seeing. Because, yeah, then they really got a hold of him. Once they got a hold of him, after his dumbass showed up back in the States despite escaping, they arrested him. Then it was like, okay, what's gonna happen now? Who does he know? Like, clearly he's gonna have to give some people up to, you know, it's clearly, I don't see him doing no full sentence. He's not going to take the rap for this all on himself. Whoever he was working with, his co-conspirators, his, anyone who helped him, anyone who helped finance all the trafficking and whatever, people who helped him source this, they're going down. So it's very clear he's going to try to, find some way to make a deal from all this by giving up names and places and people. So yeah. Folks, if you got something you want to add to the topic, feel free to jump in the guest box in the request box. Is there a request box? I don't know. Jump in the request box and come on up, speak your topic on as this topic we're talking P. Diddy and the dark underbelly of the music/film and TV industry. We've been talking a lot on P. Diddy, so let's move on to those other things. But yeah, he's in jail. Apparently he's been bugging out mostly because fun thing about the jail he's in, Luigi Mangioni's in there too. That's the same jail. I saw that there was some third guy who was there too, and it's like, is there one jail in New York that every weirdo goes to? Like I'm not saying Mangioni's weird. I'm just saying wait a minute, y'all share jails? Weren't y'all arrested in different places? Why are y'all in this one spot? Wicked being no. Oh no. It's granted, it's very weird. It's very, very weird. The Economic Times said that, yeah, P. Diddy is raging in his Brooklyn jail and Mangione is the reason why. I don't think this should. Oh. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, that caught me off guard. Yeah, you see these two pictures side by side, and it's two contrasting individuals. Definitely, Luigi will do this again. It's in his eyes. Yeah, them Dave Franco eyes that he got, and them James Franco eyebrows. But yeah, he was not gonna stop a one CEO. His no plan's gonna stop. Yeah, can't stop, won't stop. Wait, was that P. Diddy or Jay-Z? I don't know anymore. They started blending together with those euphemisms they got. Yeah. Also, you were right about one thing. P. Diddy, I like a handful of songs. That even saying a handful is not entirely a stretch. But his music was never, I never got behind it. There was this one song he did for Godzilla 1998, Come With Me. I like that song, but it has aged horribly now. Cause there's lyrics in the third act where he's in the third act towards the end of that song where he sings he gets all fired up and shit. I don't even know if I know a PD song. That's the thing. He's a music mogul, but he doesn't make music. It's very strange, very strange. Not entirely mad at Luigi. Yeah, most of America feels the same way. Most of the world feels the same way. They're not entirely mad at Luigi. It's yeah, I only ever really like the one song. That one song's it's a good song. It's the one good song, but it's hard to listen to now because there's a line in that song where he's what's this? You said to trust you. Now I'm disgusted. Ridicule me. You said you fool me. Ridicule me. Left me hanging. And then he just loses his mind and he's like, you can't run. You can't hide. No surprise. Close your eyes. What the are you doing? I can't listen to that without thinking, ooh, yeah, that's aged terribly. You can't run. You can't hide. Oh no. Whenever I hear that song, I just think of the hotel and I'm just oh, I can't listen to this anymore. It sucks because it was really good right up until you kind of learn about the man singing it. It's the thing with separating the artist from the art. It's hard to do. Yeah. Especially when they do something heinous like this. You can't enjoy the stuff they put out into the world when you realize they're a bad human being. Yeah, there's a whole lot of things you're never going to be able to look at the same way again when your favorite artist is he wasn't even a favorite artist. It's just it was the one song. But for instance, Kevin Spacey, this falls into the dark side of film industry. Kevin Spacey, with all his accusations and all the heinous stuff he was accused of doing, it kind of makes this movie he was in really hard to watch. Like, what's that movie where, like, there's a movie where he's like, American Beauty. Yeah. Yeah, you know, American Beauty. The movie where this grown ass man, like, has feelings for a woman who's clearly a teenager. That movie's really hard to watch now when you find out all his victims were teenagers too. And it's like, ooh, this is really hard to watch now. Because, yeah, it's too close to the real dude. Yeah, no wonder he had such an easy time playing these characters. He was these characters. God damn. The thing with, like, Hollywood and the music industry and all that, there's a lot of unsavory people. Like Harvey Weinstein. Is he still alive? I remember hearing that he was, at one point they said he was too sick to go to jail. Like, all of this man who, for years, mind you, Paul Harvey Weinstein, for years walked normally, you know, just carried himself. He was always a big dude, had a swagger about him. Yet out of nowhere, when the accusations came and he had to show up in court, out of nowhere, he needs a walker. He needs a oxygen tank. Like, he looks terrible. His beard he looks so disheveled all of a sudden. It's like, are you faking it, man? Like, I know people get old. I know, like, the body breaks down and all that, but, like, it's strange that you became really ill around about the same time you started getting accused. Like, it's very strange that you got unfit to go to jail around about the same time you were being prepped to go to jail. That's all I got to say. It's just like, if he is sick, then, you know, it's unfortunate because it means true justice won't be served if he's too sick to go to prison. But, like, at the same time, it's like, man, like, it comes across, you know, like he's faking it. It's like what Vince McMahon did when doing, like, the steroid trial. Like, when the first day of he was charged with, like, you know, selling and distributing steroids to other wrestlers in the WWE back in, like, the 90s. The first day of the trial, he shows up wearing a neck brace. It's like, what the? Excuse me, man. Like, why? What are you doing? Like, why did you show up to court in a neck brace, like this comically large neck brace? And it turns out, like, yeah, he did that to, like, curry sympathy for the jurors. Like, you know, like, maybe the jurors will go easy on me if they see, like, I'm just a guy who can get hurt. You know, like, I got this big neck brace on and I'm not 100%, and the U.S. government's trying to tear me down. Like, poor me, poor guy with neck brace, you know. Oh, who feels, you know, who pity the poor millionaire Vince McMahon, you know? Just, and, you know, it was bullshit. It was stated years later that, yeah, that neck brace was bullshit. He was not hurt. He just did that for sympathy because Jerry McDevitt, his lawyer, came forward and revealed that, yeah, after that steroid trial, you know, after he was cleared of all the charges, he went to, he went for steak with his family and his lawyer, and when they sat down at the table, he took off the neck brace and he, like, swung it over his head like it was a jacket or something. So, yeah, that was bullshit. So it definitely makes me question, like, maybe old Harvey Weinstein is pulling a fast one on the justice system. You know, maybe, just maybe, he's not actually sick. Maybe he don't need that walker. Maybe every time when, you know, he goes back into custody, he just like stretches himself out, throws off the mask, and just kicks it back in bed. Who knows? But he's definitely going down. It's just, yeah, with all the people that came forward, with all the stories and everything, it's, oh yeah. 2024 was certainly a year of exposure, let's say. A lot of lurid secrets came to life. Heinous people got the light shined on them. Hi, Umbral Hero. I mean, hi, Cam. Very nice to see you here. You know, a lot of people got, you know, brought out into the light and shown for their true selves. It's, how do I put this? It was certainly, well, it was certainly a year to put things into perspective. Old Cat Williams went on, what's his name? Shay Shay, I think his name is. I can. Went on Shannon Sharp's live and said, "Don't." Oh. Oh.
Hello.
Yes, you're coming through ever so clearly.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Topic at hand is P. Diddy and the dark underbelly of the music/film and TV industry. Him and all his ilk. At the moment, I'm just going on about old Harvey Weinstein and all the accusations that have been levied against him, and strangely enough, Blake Lively coming forward and saying that she was devastated when she heard the Me Too allegations against Harvey Weinstein because, that was never her experience when she was around him. It's like that thing of like, I can't believe all these women say all this about him because he was nice to me. It's like, because that happens a lot when people get accused, like, there are those people who say, I don't believe it. Like, I can't believe he could do something like that because he never did it to me. So it's like...
Must be the me not effect.
Yeah, that must be it. Yeah. People like this because it's what allows them to go decades, like serious decades, without getting caught. Like, not to say people don't come forward. People do. In the case of Weinstein, in the case of P. Diddy, in the case of all these heinous people who get these huge accusations thrown at them, tons of people come forward with it, and it's just always been pushed to the side. But now, I think with the advent of social media and the Me Too movement and all that, it's certainly given victims a voice where previously they would have had none. Back when it was very easy to dismiss someone who comes forward with this kind of information on somebody.
Yeah, I do worry, though, that the kind of pendulum swing, I suppose, the grander pendulum swing that's taking place to kind of empower a certain favorite set of voices, that the association and the sides that were kind of forced upon things in the Me Too movement, I fear that the good things gained from that time in history will be lumped in with whatever concerns are being amplified by the voices the pendulum is swinging towards. I don't know if that sounds too vague, but you kind of get what I'm talking about there?
Yeah.
There's something really powerful and really correct about empowering and believing women who have been through awful things. But I worry that the whole culture war thing that's been trying to be pushed to distract from other issues, that it being too close to that would cause some kind of pendulum shift in, maybe not overall how people morally think about these situations, but how they jump to treating these situations.
Right. Because, yeah, you're right, it does. It is always going to swing back at some point, because that's the thing about a movement, it goes and it goes and then it stops at some point. It stops once the mission it set out to do has been completed, or like something far greater comes forward, and it's like...
Or it evolves.
Yeah, or it evolves into something else. Yeah, that's why we have like different versions of the feminist movement, as opposed to just like the version that was formed way back in like I want to say, 1800s? If I'm not mistaken. I'm not that big on history, but yeah, since then there have been different versions of the feminist movement, and this might be a hot take in regards to feminism, but like, I'll say it. I know I'm a dude. I don't have much leeway to speak on feminism and all that as a guy, but I'll say this is just my opinion though. Girl power was the worst thing to happen to feminism since men. There. I said it.
In like the cookie cutter commercialism version of it?
Yes. Girl power was the worst thing to happen to feminism since men. Just the idea of, because feminism, the way I see it, is women coming together and treating each other, and like the collective good, the way I see it, it pushes forward the idea of, help each other, be there for each other. It's very much a case of we are all in this together, whereas girl power kind of gives the message of looking out for the individual, becoming like a girl boss and standing up for yourself. Screw everyone else, I can see the more inspirational aspects of like standing up for yourself, being your own boss, and like propelling yourself forward. But it also creates this thing of like, propelling yourself forward at the expense of everyone else. It's like by praising the individual, you're encouraging them to leave other people like them in the dust.
Possibly. I mean, really, when you use, and like, you'd see, girl power just like plastered all over stuff, which whenever you use limited words to describe a very involved concept or movement, you're gonna lose the plot. And it doesn't mean that the whole thing's no good, but I see what you're saying about how, like, it becomes hard to parse out exactly what girl power is supposed to be, especially when it gets tied up in, like, abridged versions or commercialized versions of the same concept.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's definitely thing of like, the headline versus the whole newspaper. It's like it's like when you read the headline, too many people read a headline and then feel like, oh, I've read the whole story, but like there's more often than not more to it than that. Like when anybody hosts a live stream and they have the topic in the back, like when someone would run "It's All Mental, No Man," they would see that headline, and rather than ask, what does this mean? Like, what are you trying to say? They would immediately see that and think, oh, so you're trying to say is, and it's always wrong. Because, like,
right.
You don't know the full scope. There's more to it than merely the headline that's up above the host's head. But
And speaking of obfuscating concepts or phrases or whatever, I mean, the whole issue that this live is about in the first place, someone like me who didn't research it deeply when it was emerging, I feel like I saw more than anything. I just saw immediately people taking Diddy's name and then turning it into a concept to attack people on other issues, instead of actually, giving weight and respect to the damage there and the truths that need to come to light, and the people affected who need their stories told. All of a sudden, it's just, culture turns into culture war BS again, of people just calling each other Diddies all day long, instead of actually trying to solve the systemic issues that create something like Diddy.
Yeah. Too often it just becomes this thing of like, like it's just this one guy. Like it's that thing of like, the one bad apple or whatever. And, there's nothing systemically wrong. There's nothing wrong with the industry at large. It was just like this one bad actor who, performed in his own lurid ways. He was the only person and everyone else is a saint, like just no need to look any further into this issue. Once we put him behind bars, everything will be sunshine and rainbows. But like, no, this kind of thing's been going on for decades. It's just more easily snooped out now because people have have like various platforms with which they can, the truth can be heard, and it's easier to capture this kind of illicit acts happening now that we have cell phones and video cameras and all that. Plus, we live in a time where women are more likely to be believed when they come forward with these kind of stories, because even in Hollywood, women have been reporting, assaults and crimes being committed against them for the better part of a century. Well, okay, to say the better part is terrible, for like well over a century. And, the freaking golden age of Hollywood has had these problems, whether it's Marilyn Monroe or, whoever. It's been going on for a while. and they could come forward then, and the story would be made to disappear in no time. Were that to happen now with like who's an up and coming actor? Like if a Saoirse Ronan came forward with a story saying that this producer tried to, force himself on her, that producer people would know who that guy was within like a day. That guy's face would be all over social media. His name would be on CNN. So many things would go on right now. There's no easily making it disappear nowadays, but at the same time, in film and music and even TV industries, yeah, while it's easy for people to have a voice on these issues, it kind of depends on your standing in that industry, because if you're like an extra per se, it's like, sure, this thing happened to you and that, but like you're accusing, like it's kind of like what happened with Francis Ford Coppola on that movie Megalopolis. Like extras came forward in the aftermath and said like, he was like grab-assing them and harassing them, and like it just flew under the radar because they were extras. They were just, if they were bit part people, if they were a name actor, then it would have been a big deal. It would have been all of the news and headlines and everything. But because they were essentially, in the eyes of film studios and so on, they were essentially nobodies, they went nowhere.
Yeah, there's such a long history and culture of covering up that kind of seedy behavior that I almost feel like we still have a lot of progress to make.
Certainly we do. It's like, it's the fact that the Me Too movement exists, the fact that, people can come forward and aren't immediately going to be turned away because the person they're going after is some big name. The fact that there are women in positions of power in these industries that, it not just women, but people of color and other minorities in these industries, that, it opens the door to make the workplace in those fields a lot safer for people to be in. And the fact that a lot of the old guard has been slowly but surely been getting phased out. The older ways of doing things have been waning in a lot of spaces is definitely, helping that become a reality, making it a better place for all and a safer place for all, men and women. Yeah. But I wonder though. Hey, I wanted to ask you, did you hear about, I know you don't follow like rap music or whatever, like, but you did know what's going on with like PD and everything. Did you hear about the babyoil?
Implications of just how long they were getting away with it and just how they were getting away with it. I feel like that conversation gets a lot less limelight than the shock value of so-and-so name is bad and so-and-so name did this bad. And then it's like, wait, so-and-so was getting away with it, and how many people were responsible for enabling that?
Yeah, that's definitely a thing, because it's never just this one dude. It's never just this case of, well, this rich individual, like, he did all this by himself. Like, no. Like, all these things, whether it be what happened with Cas Ventura in the hotel, whether it be the trafficking or, the racketeering, all that, you need help to do all that stuff. This man had accomplices, not just this man, but like various other people throughout Hollywood and film and TV, and even in that Quiet on the Set documentary showed that more than anything, these people get away with this kind of thing because they have help. It's never just one dude acting on his own. And it's never this thing of people say like, well, you will get those people that be like, well, yeah, I was there, but I had no idea that, anything was going on. Or you'll get people that say, yeah, I heard rumors, but, I never really knew for sure. Like, they knew. How could they not know? It's like,
right.
Yeah. But on to the TV side of things, especially with the Quiet on the Set documentary and what happened there on Nickelodeon, it was so seedy, holy soap. Like just that was a sign of something that had been going on for years, like right under people's noses. It wasn't even, some of it was not even under people's noses. He put some of it with, especially with that Rob Schneider dude. Some of his weirdness.
People have been talking up his I don't know, his unfavorable ways for a long time. You know, maybe they were just missing the concrete evidence, but it's crazy to me how many times, well, I don't know, I feel like almost like public perception of him was in the trash long before his career was.
Yeah.
And that's just crazy to me.
Yeah. There was, it definitely, like, there was a long time where dude was, you know, just alluded to being like not a good dude. Like nothing, but it wasn't until like recently with this Quiet on the Set thing that it came to light just how heinous he actually was. Like his relationships with the actors he worked with, like when they were like young teenagers, the weird skits he would have on the TV shows he'd produced, it all just like his bizarre foot fetish. Like, okay, I'm not here to shame anybody. It's actually one of the more normal fetishes to have, but like, this is a kid's show, man. Like, if you watch back episodes of iCarly or Victorious or Game Shakers, and you know what you know now, you will notice the weird number of times feet come into play.
Mm-hmm.
And when you hear the stories about how he would make the cast give him massages and stuff, and it's just like, okay, no. They knew. You knew, like, people at Nickelodeon knew what was going on, but didn't care because he was still making them money. And it wasn't until his shows started to take a dip in quality that, you know, they kicked him to the curb, and then all this evidence came forward. It's same thing with Hollywood. You know, like whether it's a big name actor or a director or a producer, if you're making them money, if you're making like the Hollywood studios money, they will do whatever it takes to protect their star or their producer because they want that money to keep flowing. But the moment it stops, suddenly it's like, oh well, we're not going to put ourselves on the line for this person, and all of a sudden, all this evidence comes out that, oh yeah, this person was bad the entire time. But yeah.
Yeah, like they say money is the root of all evil. I don't know if that's really true, but it definitely is its biggest supporter.
I would say greed would cover that, you know, because there are like communities and stuff that don't really. I mean, monks. Let's say monks don't really have need for money, and they be chill. You know, they don't really. There's really no greed amongst monks. You don't really see them squabbling over, like, you know, like property or something. Because, well, granted, from what I understand, like with like the like Buddhist monks, like they don't really, property is not really a thing. But still, just, you know, if you actually take away money and the power it has, like you kind of strip people of their greed, because like people are greedy so they can get more money, and they want money because they get that power, and that power allows them to do all these things, or at least they think it does. Because let's be real, Diddy, Weinstein, all these horrible people like Louis C.K., every fucked up thing they did was down to the fact that, well, they have money and they think that affords them the power to do whatever they want, and they'll get away with it because, well, shit, I'm rich, and you know, that means I can do what I want. I can just buy my way out of a problem. But yeah, I will say this though, that this is mentioned, the idea of like Luigi and P. Diddy sharing a jail. It's like not a jail cell, but a jail. Unfortunately, not just a jail. But like, it's like, damn, Like that is certainly interesting. But like it was mentioned earlier by Wicked that no, I don't really not really mad about what he did, and it's like half the country, not even half, way more than half, like a majority of the U.S. could care less about that dude, that insurance guy, because it's like the prevailing consensus was, well, this guy didn't care when he was responsible for thousands upon thousands of people, having their lives ruined because he denied them insurance. So why should I care that he's no longer around? Just the indifference was astounding. And that was, I think it showed the biggest divide between the rich and like the poor and the middle class when you saw how much the news was actively trying to avoid talking about that part. Like they talked about like what a horrible thing has happened. This man here, this father, this husband, an innocent man is not around anymore. Like they were like, feel sorry for this dude, and the casual viewer was like, we don't care about this dude. Fuck this guy. It's just, granted, it is horrible. Children lost a dad, a wife lost a husband, but at the end of the day, if you work for the people you work for and you did the thing that you did and you were indifferent to the suffering of others, why should I give any thought to your suffering, man? It's like,
and people have a hard time getting torn up about someone who's almost directly responsible for grand suffering and unaliving.
Yeah. So it's kind of leans into why people be praising this Mangione as a hero in that. Not like, yeah, so many women just be like, I'm gonna be real. I've seen so many women on this app and other apps being like, damn, he fine. But like, it's just, there's a thing of like, I don't get why people be like, yeah, you only like think highly of this dude because you think he's good looking. Like, nah, it's not just that, like he's a good looking man, but it ain't just that. Like the dude did what he did because he got frustrated with what was going on. At least that's just what I gleaned from it. And then we found out like why he really did what he did. Like the thing that led him down this path was he got hurt way back, and something was he got like chronic back pain, and he applied for insurance. Insurance was denied, and Mangione's rich, by the way. He's not middle class, not lower class. He's from a rich family, so he could totally afford the insurance, but it was denied. And like that chronic back pain lasted with him for like a very long time, and from what I've heard, it like prevented him from being able to, what's a good substitute for this word? Because normally I just say smash, but like it's not like that. Because like, well,
I think they get the point across.
Yeah, it prevented him from being able to smash. Like just chronic back pain that prevented him from being able to get with anybody, and it like that's what ultimately will put him down on the path to do that. Because if you take that away from somebody, especially someone that young and that good looking, and you take away his ability to get with somebody, it's like, okay, nah, it's like something's got to be done about this. Not only do you take away, do you give him this chronic back pain and you take away his ability to smash people, but you're not gonna do a thing to help him? Okay, like yeah, you can kind of see where it went down. That like why he went down the path it went down. It's not the main cause, but yeah.
It's an easy parallel though. Oh, there's silence going by. I can't hear anything. I was gonna say there's an easy parallel I can draw here. Between the other topic we were talking about, which is, something seeming like it's really common sense, like, we shouldn't let people get away with taking advantage of others, but then you have an industry come along that somehow manages to enable it and create this culture of covering it up and stopping people from calling out this obvious wrong. Well, it's a very similar situation with not only the healthcare system, but grander than that, the issue of, the absolute wealth gap between the top and the bottom, and when you actually talk to people about these issues, they're actually usually pretty in line with each other. Like how you were saying, it's like easily over half the country does not have a problem with what happened with the louisck situation, and it's because class consciousness is like always really one proper movement away from solidifying. But it's a similar thing to like, the nasty film and music industry where there's this conscious and always going on effort of trying to keep people distracted so they don't notice that one of the biggest issues going on, and one of the most obvious issues actually, is having such a big disparity between, the top economically and the bottom economically. I just thought that was an interesting parallel of like that idea that if you just work, if the people who are doing the abusing work hard enough, they can get the people who are abused to stop calling it out.
Yeah. It's certainly, that is, it is what it is. That is how things are in a lot of fields. Music, television, film, it does work that way. Like, because they certainly got the money, they have the resources to like put enough people on the issue as they see it to like, try to silence this person, whether it be through acts of intimidation and, just like threatening them with their job, or like threatening them with legal action. Because there are like in the case of like the WWE with like Vince McMahon and all his allegations, like a tactic that he would employ with his legal team whenever someone came forward with any accusation, whether it be sexually related or in regards to like anything else, it wouldn't be like trying to win the case. It would be this thing of like, well, we are this billion-dollar company. We have more money than you. We are just going to drag this legal proceedings so long that you run out of money and you can't continue and you concede by default and like we win. That would just be like the go-to strategy for a lot of things, even like what happened with like recently with Janelle Grant finally coming forward and putting all this evidence out there about the things he was doing, because there had been scandals for years in the wrestling business, particularly in WWE, even with the back in the 90s with the Ring Boy scandals, and in the 80s with that one referee that came forward and said that McMahon assaulted her in a limo, and there was all these stories throughout the years, but the one that stuck out personally to me was the one between Ashley Massaro, and it really showed what you said, that the people at the top can use the power they have to really quieten things down to the point that it's like it didn't happen. Because when she worked in WWE as a wrestler, Ashley Massaro, during an overseas tour, they were visiting a tribute to the troops. That's what it was. They were on a U.S. military base, and they had a WWE show there. That while she went there, she was assaulted by someone who worked in the arena who claimed to be a doctor, and she told someone in WWE, and they told the head of talent relations. The head of talent relations told Vince McMahon, and his response to the whole thing was that we would very much like you to keep this to yourself, because this kind of thing getting out could damage WWE's relationship with the U.S. Army, and that would be a big problem. But they would launch an investigation on their own once they got back to the States. And to make matters worse, like that same day, Mazzaro discovered that someone had taken her passport and that she couldn't fly home even if she wanted to, so she had to stay. Keep in mind, they were in the Middle East where this tour was happening, so she had to stay there for extra days while everyone else got to go back home. And then when she came back, like, the so-called investigation they launched, nothing had happened. The whole thing had been covered up, and, she passed some years later, and around about the time all these accusations that Vince McMahon was getting placed on, that were placed on Vince McMahon, came to light, John Laurinaitis was brought in, and he said, because for years, they had denied that she had ever come forward. They had denied anything happened. They just discredited her for years. And now that all these accusations are being placed on McMahon. The truth finally came out that yes, she did come to us. Yes, what she said did in fact happen, and yes, we did cover it up. So it's like, it's definitely a case of we have enough money, we have enough resources, and we have the ability to make your life just a living hell because we can. You know, we are that much higher up than you are, and you are just this individual that who can be ignored. You can be silenced for the longest time. It's just that hit hard because it showed like these people are evil.
Yeah, abuse of power is one of the oldest challenges of humanity.
Yeah, it's hard to take down, especially when you're just one person on their own. But if like Me Too showed anything, it's like if enough people come together, if enough people bring their stories forward, bring what they know and their evidence, and get loud enough, it's this point like, okay, this cannot be ignored. You can't shut this down. No amount of money is gonna save you from this. You too can, if you've done heinous shit in the past, you will be called out, you will be found out, and you will be, put in the spotlight for all to see.
Well, I hate to skip out so soon, but I do have some things to get to.
Oh no, it's cool. You go do your thing. It was always it's a blast having you here. It's good to have you. Your very insightful points and opinions on the topic. Helpful as always.
Yeah, I'll try to show up off.
While we still have the app, I hope you do.
Right, yeah.
Thanks for being here.
All right, well, I will see you around, my friend.
It says a lot about the world we live in, and the world we've been living in for a while, that people like this have gotten away with the shit they've been doing for as long as they've been doing. But now, with the advent of social media and victims finally coming forward, and, us being more likely to believe the victim when they come forward with a story about a seemingly influential figure doing something horrid, that so many of these people are coming to light. A lot of which happened in 2024 of all years. Cat Williams saying all the shit he said on Shay Shay podcast. He really didn't say shit. He just said, hey, this dude that everyone suspects is shady. This other guy people suspect is shady is also shady. Beware the shady people. He didn't go into specifics. He just says, hey, don't go to them Diddy parties now. Really, motherfucker. Some shit people have been saying since the 90s, and you're acting like you're saying something new. No disrespect, man. You had some valid points to make, and you made a lot of good points, but pointing out that P. Diddy is a shady motherfucker doing shady things at his parties to people, and, people should stay away from him, isn't exactly news. The whole world's like, oh, he's spilling the tea out here. Oh, man. Oh, Cat Williams, you crazy. But, like, yeah, you said that, but, like, what did you actually say that we didn't already know? Steve Harvey stealing jokes? Yeah, okay, I didn't know that. That was new. Yeah, you call Faison Love fat? Dude, Faison Love calls Faison Love fat. That's not exactly breaking news, but otherwise, yeah, in the world of people coming forward and telling their stories and these people getting outed for the creeps they really are, I all for that, because it means less people are going to get hurt. Because now these motherfuckers got to think twice about the shady shit they do. And, if the fact that their potential victims might turn around and like out them for the creep that they really are. It's just, that's what's happening with that Neil Gaiman situation. It's just, he was a freak behind the scenes, and we didn't know. Granted, I'm not king shaming. I have nothing against people who engage in BDSM, but do so ethically and legally and safely. Obtain enthusiastic consent beforehand. Okay? That is I have no problem with that. But what he did was weird as fuck, and he needs to go down for that. Same thing with the people who do foot fetish shit. I have no problem with a dude who has a foot fetish. It's a guy with a foot fetish. What you gonna do? It's one of the more normal fetishes, like I said. But thing is, this dude had a foot fetish and he was, showcasing that shit and filming that shit on a kid's TV show. That's weird, man. That's fucking disturbing. That's immoral. That's a whole host of things. That's a fucking creep, and he's gotta go. Yeah, it's just it's unfortunate that best case scenario in a lot of these cases is that the person just goes away for a bit, or like, oh well, they're never gonna work again, but they're not going to jail. That's the unfortunate thing. Like, more often than not, that's the best case scenario you can get. Like, this person has been publicly shamed, their reputation has been, just ruined. They've been just absolutely tarred and feathered in the public eye. That's the best case scenario you can get in some of these instances, especially when so much time has passed. But it's something. That's what I'm saying. It's something. It's something for at least the victim and everyone involved got some kind of justice out of it. But yeah. Anyway.
Artists and the record label, there's a definite gap in terms of power, in terms of pay, that is more often than not abused. Yes. Yeah, a power that is all too easily abused, because they're like, yeah, okay, there was a man, not a man, it was Tupac. Yeah. Way back when. There was a rapper, Biggie, and Tupac. They were in a feud, and it was a pretty heinous back and forth. It was just a rap beef, nothing serious, no shots fired. It was just, the only shots fired were lyrical, basically. That was all it was. Nothing out and towardly heinous was happening. It was just a typical rap beef. They were talking mad trash to each other until P. Diddy's ex-girlfriend, not P. Diddy, what's this? Biggie's ex-girlfriend worked with Tupac on a track. And on that track, it was discussed that, you'd get full payment once the track was done. Once the track was done, she was waiting on the money, and the money never came. So she went to, the way she tells the story, she went to go talk to Tupac about it. And when, she showed up at his hotel room, there was he was surrounded by all his dudes. And she told him, like, hey, where's the money? Like, what happened? You said you'd pay and all this. And his response, according to her, was that, if you want your money, like, get on your knees and earn it, basically. That's essentially what he said. That was, like, her side of the story. Like, to hear that is, like, it showed that in his eyes, this woman that he had been on this track with was just a pawn in the, yeah, I'm going to have your ex-girlfriend here on this track and, just to mess with you, to show, like, yeah, your woman prefers me over you. And not to mention, there's a lyric in this one's rap song he made, I can't remember the name, but he implied that they had sex, and there was even a magazine article that showed pictures of them together. And in that article, it was implied that they were in a relationship. So it was really just like this whole thing of making this song and, doing this, screwing this woman over financially. It was just like, yeah, you were just a tool and I used you and, like, I was able to get away with it. And it showed, like, the level of power between the two artists. Because, like, I make X amount of money. I make X amount of albums. I'm, this big in the community of rap and hip hop, and you make X amount of songs and X amount of money. It's like, yeah, I can very easily just stomp you out and, use you like I did, and no one's gonna say shit. Yeah, kind of says a lot about. It's been going on for a long time, even in the world of rap. Like, rap has been around for the better part of 50 years now. Because 50 or 50 plus, I don't know, but yeah, I almost said half a decade, half a century, yes, almost half a century. Rap music and hip hop has been around, and in, like, not just the behind the scenes of it all in regards to producers and artists and all that. It's like, even in, like, the lyrics themselves, too often, like, women have been pushed to the side and seen more as objects than people. Oh shit. Thing that made me laugh recently in regards to that, the music industry and rap, was 50 Cent made a statement about like, rap music by women this day and age, like hip hop music, and he said, like, well, like, it's mostly just like asses shaking and songs about like their private parts and songs about sex and their bodies and all that. Like that was the idea he was putting forward. Like like that's all it is nowadays. They're just like, it's very like it's like a dude of the older generation talking about like these kids nowadays like they just want to rap about like smecks and their bodies and all that, and it's like really coming from you, that's kind of hilarious, man. Like you're a rapper too. You gonna call yourself out for the women you had with their asses shaking in the background, all the thongs in the music videos, all the weird pool parties that there were in music videos that and there. Like, are you gonna call yourself out for the amount of times you rapped about women and you rapped about specs and like you? Oh, are you gonna apologize for Magic Stick? You gonna apologize for that, Chief? I don't think so. But yeah, people. Oh, glass houses, folks. Glass houses. No, that's a light thing. Like that's a little bit. That's some light hypocrisy for you. Nothing too heinous, nothing too harmful. But like, yeah. Oh, it kind of shows that there's this thing of like you kind of have that luxury when you get big enough. You kind of have that luxury of being able to be critical of certain styles of music. Like, well, you have so much money in your account, you are so well renowned, you can essentially look down on people and say, like, hey, you don't need to be doing that. Like, yeah, you don't, but I do. It's like Eminem, but Eminem made a rap about Will Smith. Like he referred to him in one song, and he said, like Will Smith doesn't have to rap in his songs. Well, I do, so fuck him and fuck you. And what funny was Will Smith fired back. He had like one line. Granted, like Eminem also had like one line, but the line was like Will Smith's line was PG. Like he didn't swear at all in his rap. It was the song "Nice Guy," and he's like, "Got this by Eminem, but does it bother him? Nah, cause he classy. Big Will just collected another 20 mil. Walk right past E. Like, oh shit." Granted, it was a flex thing of being like, I got more. Well, so you said fuck you because I don't have to swear in my raps. Well, I'm gonna go do another movie for $20 million, and you keep doing what you're doing, little man. Like the disparity is real, but yeah. Back to the topic at hand. Some light levity for you. Bring things up after they'd gone down for a sec, folks. Yeah, the film and TV industry, quiet on the set, opens a lot of eyes. Documentaries such as this really shine a light on how the system is in a lot of these industries is designed to protect these kind of people, like men like P. Diddy, not Rob Schneider, what's this? Whatever. Not Rob Schneider, what's this? Dan Schneider, yeah. P. Diddy, Dan Schneider, Harvey Weinstein. It's seemingly designed to protect these people because they make money. The moment they stop making money, they're gone. Because that was the thing. And those producers and those studios, those labels are quick to cut these people once the word gets out that they did what they did. Look at Marvel. Look at Kang. Like, yeah, Johnathan Majors. Marvel Studios, when that first accusation came out, they pumped the brakes on the MCU because they wanted to see which way it was going to go. And when that court case started, they cut ties with him quick. They cut ties with him very quick. Even though he's not going to jail, even though it's clear that, like she was chasing him down, he was trying to get away from her doing all this, it was Marvel was very quick to cut ties with him and a hard pivot into the version of the MCU we see now. They totally just dropped Kang as a character, dropped Johnathan Majors. His career just took a nosedive. And, it kind of raises this thing of like, will he get that second chance that a non-person of color actor would get if it were happening to him? Because, I mean, a similar thing happened to Johnny Depp. His career is not over. His career stalled for a bit. While this trial was going on, his career definitely stalled once all those accusations came forward. But he's still gonna have a job. Like, he's still got fans. He's still gonna book roles. He's gonna get like that second chance, even though it was shown in that case that both those parties were at fault. Yeah, they were both toxic people in a toxic relationship. But like, he's still gonna have a job to go back to. And Amber Heard, for all the things that were said about her, for all the things she said, for all the things she did, she's still out here, out here in the world. Granted, she's not as active as she once was, but she's still active. Neither one of these people went to jail. They were just publicly shamed. It was just a thing of like, you do have to look at it as like, I mean, under this thing of like, okay, if this person was black, would they still be afforded that second chance? You know, like, is Johnathan Majors going to be afforded a second chance like Robert Downey Jr. way back in the day? Like, you know, are people gonna, it does open the door to that way, because like, yeah, there is a serious, the freaking studios and the producers and all that are quick to cut ties with someone if they no longer see any value in this person. But they're very quick to protect someone if they find like this person is still making us money. Because what's that guy's name? The guy who directed The Godfather and that Megaflopolis. When he was arresting those extras, it's clear like he's done this before. This wasn't just something he woke up one day, as old as he is, and decided, yeah, I'm gonna go do this to a bunch of extras and like, hey, let's see if it works out. No, it's clear like he's done this kind of thing before. This has happened probably before on several film productions he's been on, but like the studios and bigwigs probably did everything they could to keep it quiet because he was still making the money. He was, still a cash cow that they could milk. But once, his work started to slip and, they weren't fucking with him anymore. They weren't going to just give him the same thing with like even movie production. A studio will gladly hand over millions upon millions of dollars if you're a director with a bunch of hits to your belt, even if you come to them with the most ludicrous idea. But if you're a director who comes forward with, you can come forward with the best idea in the history of man, but if the last couple movies you made haven't been hitting and haven't been making the money that studios want, it's like, no, sorry, that's not happening. But yeah. Interesting. It's like, it's really shady, the world that this is, like film and TV and music. Oh, wait, yeah, film, TV, and music, and people in it. The people in it at the very top. Not everyone is evil. Not everyone is into bad things. But there's enough people who are to create the impression that that is the case. And even those who aren't work in the service of those who are to cover up their messes and like all in the service of the almighty dollar. It's terrible. But it's not all doom and gloom, because in time, enough people come forward, enough evidence is gathered, enough is done to put these people on blast for everything they do, to shut them down, to show them that ultimately your money, your power, your influence, it don't mean shit when you show the world who you really are behind all that. When you are exposed for the twisted, evil person you are deep down. That is a beautiful thing, because it shows that at the end of the day, though they may try to make it not the case, we are all equal. We can all be held accountable for our misgivings. We can be, yeah, people can be protected from the heinous as much as the heinous people protect each other from people like us. And that's all I really kind of have to say on the matter. I figured there'd be more. I tried, it's a lot to cover, it's a definite topic, but, I'm going to go right now. got some stuff I need to do, and until next time, as well, gonna do everything we can on this app while we still got it. I'm gonna try to host lives. I'm gonna try to be on lives. I'm gonna, post it and share it and all that. Trying to put some positivity and, humanity back. Decency. Decency. I learned how to spell decency listening to a gangster. It's like, of all things, like, just, it shows, like, humanity comes in the weirdest places and from the most out there people. But yeah, gonna try to, if you can take anything away from this, it's that, be good to one another, be decent. If you see someone doing some fuck shit, call it out, be a good human being and stand alongside one another. The individual propping themselves up is something to strive for. It is inspiring. It is an emboldening idea. But just don't prop yourself up on top of someone else. And if you must prop yourself up, then by all means, when you see someone like you trying to do the same, give them a helping hand and not a foot to the face. As always, folks, I'm going to sign out with what I say each time. We are who we are. There's no point arguing with yourself or anyone else about it. Goodbye.